Well, folks, it seems Niger just threw a uranium yellowcake right into the global geopolitical punch bowl. This unexpected move has caught everyone off guard, from seasoned diplomats to energy analysts. The world is now watching Niger with bated breath, trying to understand the full implications of this bold maneuver. Talk about shaking things up. The international community is abuzz with speculation and concern. What does this mean for global energy markets? How will this affect international relations? The questions are endless, and the answers are far from clear. This tiny, landlocked nation, better known for its Saharan landscapes than its international clout, has just made a move that sent shockwaves through the corridors of power from Paris to Beijing. Niger, often overlooked on the global stage, is now at the center of a geopolitical storm. Its vast uranium deposits have suddenly become a focal point of international intrigue and strategic calculations. They've revoked French uranium mining licenses. This is not just a bureaucratic hiccup, it's a seismic shift in the balance of power. France, which has long depended on Niger's uranium to fuel its nuclear power plants, is now scrambling to find alternative sources. The ripple effects of this decision are being felt far and wide. Now, you might be wondering why this matters. Why is the world so concerned about a single country's decision to control its own natural resources? The answer lies in the strategic importance of uranium. Why all the fuss over a metal most people associate with Cold War bombs? Uranium has a storied history, from its role in the development of nuclear weapons to its current use in generating nuclear energy. It's a resource that has shaped the course of history and continues to play a crucial role in the modern world. Well, uranium isn't just about mushroom clouds anymore. Today, it's the backbone of the nuclear energy industry, providing a significant portion of the world's electricity. As countries strive to reduce their carbon footprints and transition to cleaner energy sources, the demand for uranium is only expected to grow. It's the fuel that powers a good chunk of the world's nuclear energy, and Niger sits on a gold mine, or rather, a yellowcake mine of the stuff. The country's uranium reserves are among the largest in the world, making it a key player in the global energy market. Niger sits on a gold mine, or rather, a yellowcake mine of the stuff. This resource has the potential to transform the country's economy and elevate its status on the global stage. But with great power comes great responsibility, and Niger's leaders are now faced with the challenge of managing this newfound influence. France, in particular, has been heavily reliant on Niger's uranium for decades. The relationship between the two countries has been one of mutual dependence, with France benefiting from a steady supply of uranium and Niger receiving much-needed revenue. They've been getting a sweet deal, some might say too sweet, on this vital resource. For years, France has enjoyed favorable terms, securing uranium at prices that have allowed it to maintain its energy independence. But those days may be coming to an end. But the party seems to be over. Niger's decision to revoke the mining licenses is a clear signal that it wants to renegotiate the terms of its relationship with France. The country is no longer content to be a passive supplier, it wants a bigger piece of the pie. Niger's new military junta, feeling perhaps a tad bolder than their predecessors, has decided to take back control of their yellowcake and rewrite the rules of the game. This move is as much about asserting national sovereignty as it is about economic strategy. The junta is sending a message to the world. Niger is no longer willing to be exploited. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this uranium coup is just the beginning. The world is watching closely to see how this situation unfolds. Will other countries follow Niger's lead and take control of their own resources? The implications for global energy markets and international relations are profound. It's a sign of the times, a taste of things to come as Africa flexes its muscles and demands its rightful place at the global table. The continent is rich in natural resources, and its leaders are increasingly determined to leverage these assets for the benefit of their people. Niger's bold move could be the catalyst for a broader shift in the global balance of power. As Africa continues to develop and modernize, its influence on the global stage will only grow. The continent's young, dynamic population is poised to drive innovation and economic growth. The world would do well to pay attention to these emerging trends and prepare for a future where Africa plays a central role in shaping global affairs. In the end, Niger's decision to take control of its uranium resources is a bold statement of independence and ambition. It's a reminder that even the smallest nations can have a big impact on the world stage. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. The global chessboard has been irrevocably altered, and the game will never be the same again. Let's talk about France for a second. A country known for its rich history, culture, and influence on the global stage. From the bustling streets of Paris to the serene countryside, France has always been a beacon of art, fashion, and culinary excellence. The land of fine wine, cheese, and, well, nuclear power. Yes, while many might associate France with its gastronomic delights, there's another side to this nation that powers its modern lifestyle. You see, France is a global leader in nuclear energy. This isn't just a small part of their energy mix, it's the backbone of their electricity supply. Nuclear energy is not just a choice for France, it's a necessity. It provides a whopping 70% of their electricity. This reliance on nuclear power has allowed France to reduce its carbon emissions significantly, making it one of the greenest industrialized nations in terms of energy production. And where do they get a big chunk of the uranium to keep those reactors humming? You guessed it, Niger. This West African nation, rich in natural resources, has been a cornerstone of France's nuclear energy strategy. For decades, Niger has been a crucial supplier of uranium to France, feeding their insatiable appetite for nuclear power. The relationship between the two countries dates back to the colonial era, and it has evolved over the years into a complex web of economic and political ties. It's been a mutually beneficial relationship, or so it seemed. France gets the uranium it needs to keep its lights on, and Niger receives financial compensation and development aid in return. France got its energy fix, and Niger, well, they got something in return. But what exactly did Niger get? While there have been investments and aid, the benefits have not always trickled down to the average Nigerian. But the terms of this uranium marriage have always been a bit, shall we say, lopsided. The legacy of colonialism still casts a long shadow over this relationship, with France often holding the upper hand. France, with its colonial past and considerable economic clout, has enjoyed a rather advantageous position in Niger. This power dynamic has allowed France to secure access to uranium at favorable prices, often at the expense of Niger's own development. They've secured access to uranium at favorable prices, often leaving Niger with the short end of the stick. The financial gains from these transactions have not always been reinvested into the local economy, leading to a sense of exploitation among the Nigerian people. This has bred resentment among the Nigerian people, who see their country's valuable resources being shipped off to power the bright lights of Paris while they struggle with poverty and underdevelopment. The stark contrast between the wealth generated from uranium and the living conditions in Niger is a source of ongoing tension. Despite the wealth of resources, many Nigerians still lack access to basic services like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. The promise of development and prosperity has often fallen short, leaving many to question the true benefits of this long-standing relationship with France. As the world moves towards a more equitable and sustainable future, the dynamics of this relationship are being scrutinized more than ever. There are calls for fairer terms and greater transparency in how the benefits of uranium mining are shared. Niger is also exploring other avenues for energy and economic development, including renewable energy projects. These initiatives aim to reduce the country's dependency on uranium exports and create a more diversified and resilient economy. The future of Niger's energy sector and its relationship with France will depend on how well these new strategies are implemented and whether they can bring about meaningful change for the people of Niger. The hope is that with a more balanced approach, both nations can benefit in a way that is fair and sustainable. So, the next time you see the bright lights of Paris, remember the complex web of relationships and resources that make it all possible. The story of France's energy lifeline in Niger is a reminder of the interconnected world we live in and the need for fairness and equity in all our dealings. Now, enter the new kids on the block, Niger's military junta. These guys, fresh from seizing power, are not known for their patience or their willingness to play by the old rules. They've taken one look at the uranium deal with France and said, "Non, merci." The junta's decision to revoke French mining licenses is a bold move, a shot across the bow of their former colonial masters. It's a declaration of independence, a signal that Niger is no longer content to be a passive supplier of raw materials. They want a bigger slice of the yellow cake pie, and they're willing to play hardball to get it. Of course, the junta claims this is all about national interest, about ensuring that Niger benefits from its own resources. And to be fair, they have a valid point. Niger remains one of the poorest countries on Earth, despite sitting on a uranium gold mine. Something doesn't quite add up, does it? The situation in Niger is like lighting a match near a fireworks factory. The country, rich in uranium, has become a focal point of international interest and tension. This precious resource, essential for nuclear power and weapons, has turned Niger into a geopolitical hotspot. The geopolitical implications are explosive, to say the least. The stakes are incredibly high, and the potential for conflict is ever present. Nations are vying for influence and control, each with their own strategic interests and agendas. With France on the back foot, other global players are circling like sharks sensing blood in the water. France, historically a dominant force in Niger, is now facing challenges from multiple fronts. The shifting power dynamics have created a vacuum that other nations are eager to fill. Russia, never one to miss an opportunity, is already making overtures to Niger. The Kremlin sees an opening to expand its influence in Africa, and it's moving quickly to establish stronger ties. Diplomatic visits, economic deals, and military cooperation are all on the table. They've got their own nuclear ambitions, you see, and they're always happy to find new sources of uranium. For Russia, securing a steady supply of this critical resource is a strategic priority. It bolsters their nuclear capabilities and strengthens their position on the global stage. Plus, sticking it to the West is always a bonus in their book. The rivalry between Russia and Western nations adds another layer of complexity to the situation. Every move in Niger is not just about resources, but also about gaining an upper hand in the broader geopolitical chess game. Then there's China, the economic powerhouse, with a knack for making friends and influencing people, especially those with valuable resources. China's approach is multifaceted, combining economic investments with diplomatic efforts to secure its interests. They've been investing heavily in Africa for years, and they're not about to let this opportunity slip through their fingers. Infrastructure projects, loans, and trade agreements are all part of China's strategy to cement its presence in Niger and beyond. And let's not forget the United States, always keen to maintain its global influence, even if it means getting involved in a uranium turf war in the heart of Africa. The US is closely monitoring the developments in Niger, ready to step in to protect its interests and counter the influence of its rivals. It's a geopolitical free-for-all, folks, and the stakes are high. The competition for Niger's uranium is a microcosm of the larger struggle for power and influence in the 21st century. As nations maneuver and strategize, the people of Niger find themselves at the center of a high-stakes game with global ramifications. The outcome of this new scramble for Africa's uranium will shape the future of international relations and the balance of power for years to come.